So what you're going to see is a number of images presented on this computer screen. Now you've got your controller pad here, and the numbers 1 to 5 on the controller pad.
The students seen here are collecting data from one of the many tests being performed on seasonal affective disorder in the Cognitive Acquisition Lab at Lakehead University.
Broadly speaking, there are two different general classes of projects that's being conducted here. One of them involves a number of projects on seasonal depression, which I'm doing with my student, and Dana's study is one of them, where she is comparing people with symptoms of seasonal depression and another group of people with symptoms of non-seasonal depression and another group of people who have no depression.
So what we're basically doing is trying to tease out the differences between the reactions of people who have seasonal depression compared to people who have regular depression, and how they react in different ways to different types of stimuli.
This particular test for seasonal depression requires that 5 non-invasive electrodes are to be attached to the participant's face.
So we'll attach 1 in the middle of the forehead, 2 above the brow, and 2 on the cheek, just with medical tape. And then following that, we inject each one with a little bit of electrode gel. And that just measures their different psychological responses to different types of images that we present them with. And while they're presented with those images and we're measuring their physiological responses, they're making a psychological response using the keypad. So they're rating each image on a scale of 1 to 5 based on how appealing they find each image. So 1 being not appealing at all and 5 being very appealing.
All of this valuable research being done here by the students all helps assist in further understanding what contributes to the development of seasonal affective disorder.
There's 4 different colored buttons on it, red, green, yellow, and blue. So you have to try to choose as quickly as you can what color the word is printed in. So try to ignore the semantic meaning of the word. So try to ignore if it says red and it's printed in blue, you try to click blue as quickly as you possibly can.
Here in the Cognitive Acquisition Lab, I'm learning a variety of opportunities in regards to conducting psychological research using different types of psychological equipment here in the lab, and I'm also learning about my area of research, which is my interest in depression. I've been reading up on the research in seasonal affective disorder, and I've actually found out that some studies have shown that people who suffer from seasonal affective disorder may actually show symptoms actually more dangerous and more severe than people who suffer from depression.
Regular depression is usually treated, if it's severe enough, with medications. For seasonal depression, the frontline, I would say the most efficacious intervention is actually bright light therapy. So for instance, you give somebody bright light therapy, and we know it works, but do we know why it works? So for instance, another of our project is actually looking at if you show bright light therapy to people who have seasonal depression, and it does work, which wavelength is actually most efficacious for it? Do you really need to show them a broadband wavelength for light therapy, or can you just show them narrow wavelength and that will do just as well?
Reporting from Thunder Bay, I'm Sarah MacArthur.